Hey, True Believers, Chris Mack coming at you with Wolverine number 68. And this was another excellent comic book. This is called Battlegrounds. The print date on it was April 1993. And before we get into what is Epsilon Red and this exquisite artwork, let's talk about who made this book. This is Larry Hama's script, Mark Teixeira doing art, Steve Basai doing the backgrounds, Pat Brosseau doing the lettering, Steve Bucoletto coloring, Bob Harris was the editor, and Tom DeFalco was the editor-in-chief. And I love the grittiness of this comic book. And not like, modern comics, if they actually will do it, can make comics look dark and gritty, but not the way they used to, man. Where even just the pencil and the ink just looks like it just went crazy over the colors and just make it look like it was just gritted on the paper. You don't get that anymore. So Wolverine here is, he's in this place called Tyratum, however you pronounce that word, but they call it Terry Adams. Why, I don't know. But Wolverine thinks he's in 1968, and he's supposed to kill this character named Epsilon Red, whose body, spoiler alert if you've never read this, so if you have not, please make sure to pause this review, go get the book, highly recommend it, read it, and you're back. Epsilon Red was part of the same Soviet program that created Omega Red. So when I read this, I was like, man, this cover looks a lot like the first appearance of Omega Red, which was what, X-Men number 4? And just that this is very remnant, but the artwork is just a lot more gritty. And that's what I love. I mean, when you look at it in its entirety, to a degree, I could see where Teixeira, I think is how you pronounce his name. If I'm wrong, make fun of me down in the comments. Very akin to Bill Sienkiewicz in terms of kind of like surreal, dirty. Now, Epsilon Red, as I just said, was created by the same people that made Omega Red. His thing is, it was during the space race, and they made it to where his body can survive in the vacuum of space, but not on Earth without a containment suit. Wolverine, from what we understand, was sent to kill this man. But he's saying, you've got it all wrong. And then Logan, I mean, look at this artwork, just awesome. Wrong or not, I got a job to do, and they're like, keep track of time, what? And things start to get sort of surreal here. But I mean, look at the shadows. This very much reminds me of like the Demon Bear arc where they kind of drew Ileana in shadows like this, or the monster himself. And same here, I mean, look at the work. His containment suit is destroyed. He begins to bloat up. You could see where his inspiration came from. I mean, my God. And now, I know that I'm sitting here gabbing on about the artwork, but Larry Hama's script is awesome. I mean, it's not something like, oh, it's the next major event. Who gives a shit? It's a good story, and that's what matters at the end of the day. So this is, again, Epsilon Red with his wife. He accidentally slashes her, and he goes, a shallow wound, nothing that'll harm the baby. Leave her be, assassin, take my life, but spare my wife and unborn child. He's like, this is a containment suit. Exactly. The suit maintained a vacuum inside. You see, they changed him so that he could be a genetically engineered astronaut in every sense of the phrase. He was altered so that the nothingness of space could be his natural habitat, and the surface of the Earth, full of pressures and dense gases, was as deadly to him as the depths of the ocean are to us. And he's looking at Logan, end it. Do me a favor and fulfill your mission. And Logan's fighting internally because Epsilon here is saying, you know me. He's like, no, I don't. I know you from Adam. And so he's fighting with the mental blocks. Epsilon says that I can help you because he says all these astronauts that went through this program had to have psi talent. And so Logan agrees to have him probe his mind to try to remove these dampeners that are hindering his mind. And then look at the X-Men. My God, this is how I remember them. Just that gritty 90s awesomeness that you just don't see anymore. I mean, look at how badass Jubilee looks. They're going to help Logan. They know that he's in Russia. Now let me kind of skip past some of the more, I cannot think. It's that one word, exposition. There it is. Anyway, and I love how the images overlap the panels. I mean, look at this. And so they go into his mind and show how Logan was supposed to assassinate this man. And Creed interrupts. This part, Sabretooth tells him that he's not supposed to kill this Russian, that, you know, things came up from the higher echelons. And so he says the man's been spared. And what I like is how when we're in the present, yes, it's still dark and gritty and noir, but then when we go into the past, we get these really bright, stark reds. And it just really helps to kind of help you differentiate where you're at in this story. And again, look at this. So inspired by Sienkiewicz. I love how Logan's being split mentally. You know, we're seeing this visually. Again, show don't tell, and that's what we're seeing here. Such good work of the paneling, colors, the penciling. Damn, it's such good work. But it tears him apart, and he starts to see images from his mind, Weapon X, Sabretooth, Silver Fox, and how everything's in this light, shadowy. You just get that very noir, dark feeling. I mean, the way he's being torn apart inside. And Epsilon said, this is going to hurt. And he's like, I could take a little pain. He said it would hurt. Never thought it would be this bad. Like every molecule in me is screaming, and the whole universe is white hot, like the heart of a Bessemer furnace. And it just feels very Shakespearean in a sense, like something you would see in a play where a lot of his memories come to the surface and he wipes back to reality. As you read the story, it's something that you would read sort of in a spy flick, to say the least. And Epsilon asks Wolverine to help him go home. And there's a little something that you learn about the man's daughter, his wife, and Sabretooth. And it just tears you apart when you read this part of the book. But guys, Wolverine 68, absolutely amazing, classic story. I remember I picked this up the first time when I was a kid for like $1 at a garage sale, but I had a big chunk of it missing. So I'm glad that I got a better copy. Now again, if you're like me and you like good stories, this is right up your alley. But collecting wise, there's no first appearances, there's no 1/75th of a thousandth variant, there's no big major next event crossover, blah, 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 blah. Just great, gorgeous artwork and an awesome story. And at the end of the day, that's what makes an excellent comic book. So if you've enjoyed this book, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little berserker bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.